Hello, welcome back. In this video we talk about Tone Poets, two new releases, Kenny Burrell and Grant Green, Feeling the Spirit. But before we go into these two releases, please give me the opportunity to talk about reissues when they make sense, because maybe this has come a little bit short in the last time, and some of you are under the wrong impression. There are still reissues that make total sense, and this is whenever the recipe is the right one, in my opinion. When you have experienced people who put all the effort they can into it, meaning great mastering engineer, in this case Kevin Gray, but also Ryan K. Smith, Bernie Grundman, just to name three of them. When the pressing is good, the packaging of course also plays its role, although this can be put aside in this matter a little bit. And of course, when the original, and I think it's safe to say that, for example, when it comes to Blue Notes, it's not that easy, it's not that cheap to get a decent, beautiful playing, clean playing original. You know, those Blue Notes, they are out there, you can find them, but they have their price, which of course makes sense. Those are icons. And way back, I've did a listening with a friend of mine who had originals against some of the Music Matters Jazz reissues. I don't want to get into better or not now, but the reissues didn't have to hide behind those releases. Maybe because those tapes, as also, for example, Kevin Gray stated that, and I think Bernie Grundman did it too, these tapes out of this era, they are in a very, very, very good shape. And so you have a fine base for doing great reissues. And Blue Note Tone Poets, Blue Note Classic Series, Analog Production, Sam Records, they do a great job. Their whole heart is into it, and so they do very, very good reissues, and it makes total sense to get into them. Total sense. So that being said, now let's get into the two releases, and let's start with the Kenny Burrell in this beautiful Stoughton jacket with the session photos. I mean, come on, this is cool stuff. Pressed over at RTI. Kenny Burrell is here with Kenny Burrell on the guitar, Tommy Flanagan on the piano, Paul Chambers on bass, Kenny Clark on drums, and Candido on the conga drums. What a beauty. Let's get right into the second one, because we can talk about the overall quality in one section for both of them. The other one that is now out is the Grant Green, Feeling the Spirit. We have here Grant Green on guitar, we have Herbie Hancock on the piano, Butch Warren on bass, Billy Higgins on drums, Gavin Marceau on the tambourine. The original recording took place in 1963 on the Kenny Burrell, where they have mixed up some numbers and didn't do them right. But yeah, doesn't change the quality in a way. It's a funny anecdote in a way, but nothing too important. We are talking here about a 1957 release. So, after the huge gun, the very big gun, the John Coltrane Blue Train, these two releases. What can I tell you? What is my impression when it comes to the overall mastering and sound quality? Dead flat, silent pressing, beautiful, perfect. And both of them are those tone poets where you have this wow effect, for sure. Both are top shelf sounding records, incredible. I wouldn't say that the tone poets reached a new level, careful with those superlatives, but those are among the best sounding tone poets in my opinion so far. Gorgeous stuff. You know, one of the most difficult things when it comes to these jazz releases is the piano. And both of those records have a piano. And the way those pianos sounds on both releases is outstanding. I haven't rarely heard it in this quality. Of course, the usual soundstage, yada yada yada, all top-notch separation, great work. The overall, let's call it sound atmosphere, is stunning. Those are two stunning releases. As I mentioned at the beginning, I am sadly not able to compare those against originals. But you get a fantastic sounding record. If the original, for whatever reasons, and I slightly doubt that, I slightly do, those originals must be unbelievable. So this is totally worth your interest, totally worth that you get into and think about it. If you haven't already, of course, I can imagine that a lot of you who watches these kinds of videos do get their tone poets. I'm quite sure. And tone poet, in my opinion, is one of these areas in the reissue realm that totally makes sense and will always make sense. I don't think that this will change. And so, just to put things straight, to put things right, of course I will collect those kind of reissues in the future. The only thing I don't like, and I will say that, when you have a reissue that should or could have been better because you didn't take enough care or for whatever reason. I mean, in a way, if the reason is not that important, the outcome is the importance. And when the record doesn't sound as good as it should, we say that, we should talk about it. I would say that. So, nothing more, nothing less. And of course, especially when it comes to the blue notes, please don't get me wrong here. Of course, I would love to have an original. Oh my God, it's an icon. It's an original blue note. In a way, almost I'm tempted to say doesn't care how it sounds. I do care how it sounds, but I think you get my point. This original blue note is, of course, something extremely special, an icon, an artifact. And it always will stay that way. We can get reissue after reissue in a way. Okay. Enough said. Thank you for your time. See you on the next one. Bye.